The National Education, Health and Allied Workers Union has been giving feedback on the recent Central Executive Committee meeting, which was held from the 6th to the 8th of December. Newzroom Afrika's Nqobile and Madlala attended that debrief session. Nqobile, and you're standing by to debrief our viewers. Good afternoon.
Yes, to do. In fact, I do have a guest here to speak to us about that. But part of what has come out is that we understand that NEHAWU is throwing its weight behind ANC for the 2024 elections. And perhaps it's quite interesting because we know you have always been in that corner, but you've also said in your statement that SACP should go ahead and contest. So what does that mean?
No. We're saying that we affirmed the decisions of COSATU National Congress that the SACP should contest election. And we are saying it is a fact that the SACP is not contesting election. This time they have resolved to contest within the Reconfigured Alliance, and we are part of the Reconfigured Alliance. We have always been part of the alliance. So all of us as alliance partners, we are going to be contesting elections behind the African National Congress. That's what we are saying.
All right. And I mean, you also said that you are committed in building a powerful socialist movement of workers. Tell us about that.
Yes, that's a movement that will be galvanized by the South African Communist Party, the workers' federations, the student movement, the women. We're trying to form fronts to fight various issues that are affecting the society. It is actually a movement that seeks to eliminate the imbalances and also the inequality that exists in the country. It's a movement that seeks to galvanize people to fight for or against gender imbalances or inequalities, economic inequalities, including the racial inequalities. I mean, if you look at the poverty in this country, it has got the color and it has got the agenda. If you look into wage inequality in this country, it has got a color and it was an agenda. Economic exclusion is a color and an agenda. It needs a movement that's going to galvanize. And for us, we have identified the South African Communist Party to be the leader of that socialist movement.
How are you going to do that?
No, we have committed ourselves now, for instance, as a union, to be part of that movement. So already the movement is up and running. We just need to grow it. We just need to hegemonize it in society. We just need to organize the youth that is 70% unemployed in this country. We just need to mobilize students that even as per this recent budget, they've suffered a budget cut of NSFAS. We just need to mobilize those. We just need to mobilize women that still today, 30 years of democracy, they're still experiencing inequalities in this country.
Right. And you say you support NHI at this point. Why?
Because we believe that it is important for all South Africans to access universal health care coverage, irrespective of their social standing in society, irrespective of the pocket of how deep their pocket is. It's important that the funding and the infrastructure of healthcare system should be equal and should be fit for purpose, but should service all South Africans. We think that this thing of people, business people, turning themselves into healthcare providers. When they look at the sick people, they look at them as a market from which they must make profit. We think it must come to an end. People can die here, but simply because they don't have medical aid, the healthcare providers of private, they can leave them around. We don't think that South Africa is a country that can sustain such kind of a treatment of our people.
But you were saying that you're also losing quite a number of people in the healthcare sector. We saw you earlier on this year. There was a whole protest, a strike against payments that was not being given to the people that deserve it. How is the NHI going to fix all those problems that remain in the public sector?
Well, the National Health Insurance shouldn't be counterposed with the problem that is besetting the healthcare services. It should be seen as actually as a vehicle that is actually going to resolve such things. One of the problems that you see that we're losing a number of healthcare workers. It is because the funding model, the funding system that prioritizes private sector, that services fewer people in this country, the rich for that matter, the poor, the elderly, who are the ones who are sick, the unemployed one, who are the ones who need the services the most, are supposed to be relying on the state, but the state is incapable. So the NHI is actually supposed to eliminate what we call a two-tier healthcare system, where we've got two healthcare systems in this country, one for the rich and one for the poor. So to an extent that the public healthcare institutions will be in the bad shape, infrastructure-wise. It's a function of funding. It's a function of government prioritizing, not the majority of the poor, but prioritizing the business. And that is why we think it must be eliminated. It's a function of the choice of strengthening the medical aid schemes that service the few people, and then underfunding the majority of the institutions. So the healthcare systems are supposed to coordinate and consolidate all the resources of the countries to move from the same port to service our people equally, so if we were to eliminate forever an inequality. And that's one part, by the way, that the powerful socialist movement of the poor and the workers are going to be focusing on. They're going to be running a campaign to ensure that the poor are not neglected in favor of the profit-making institutions.
But I mean, wouldn't you agree that NEHAWU has been for many years? I mean, you have a lot of people that support you. Why now have that socialist campaign only now? You've had years to implement such and actually work on these problems. You speak about infrastructure, for example. What has been built by government at this very point to show, and what you have maybe rallied behind to fight for that infrastructure?
Well, the infrastructure in the brigade will have been put in place. The system will have been put in place. However, you must know that South Africa is at last a divided country. It's a contested terrain, be it economic policy-wise, be it the system of the state. That have always been contested between business, for-profiteering people, and the ones that are for the country. So we have been rallying behind the government. If you remember, NEHAWU, as you said, before the strike, actually, we had a campaign called Public Service Delivery Campaign, in which we were highlighting the defects that our public sector institutions are lacking, be it in Home Affairs, be it in Justice, be it in SASSA, be it in Health, to indicate to the public that it is not because of those workers in the public sector that you are receiving supposedly the poor quality, or you see long queues in hospital. It is because of the fact that we have got fewer healthcare workers now, we've got fewer public service workers now, we've got unfunctioning institutions. So we have been campaigning, we will continue to campaign. As for the socialist movement, as I said, it's not a political party that is formed by the workers. The workers are joining the already existing movement of the South African Communist Party. We are just recommitting and affirming it and saying that we want to make it work. We want to hegemonize it in society by our presence.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. Of course, that briefing has concluded, but as you can hear, there's quite a lot coming out. That socialist movement, as well as looking into the NHI bill, how it's going to assist people going forward, and of course, NEHAWU throwing its weight behind ANC going to the 2024 elections.
All right, Nqobile Madlala, thank you very much for that report.